Dear students, I welcome you all on this YouTube channel. In the previous video lecture, I discussed up to independent voltage and current sources. In this video lecture, I am going to discuss dependent sources. Then I will discuss Kirchhoff's current law and Kirchhoff's voltage law. So let's start with dependent sources. Let's start with dependent sources. First, let us see what is the meaning of dependent source. What is the meaning of dependent source? Dependent sources, that means maybe there will be the voltage source or current source. So what is the meaning of dependent sources? Dependent sources means the sources whose magnitudes are dependent on the current or voltage of other branch. That means the sources whose magnitude are dependent on current or voltage of another branch. Clear? So there are two types of dependent. Again, so in the case of dependent sources, there will be current source and voltage source. Current source and there will be voltage source. There will be voltage source. Now here in the case of current source, you will see that there will be two types of current sources, dependent current sources. First one will be voltage controlled current source, VCCS, voltage controlled current source. Second one will be current controlled current source, CCCS. Similarly, in the case of voltage sources, there will be two types of voltage sources. First one will be voltage controlled voltage source, that means VCVS, voltage controlled voltage source. Second one is current controlled voltage source, current controlled voltage source, CCVS. So let us discuss all the four types of dependent sources here. We'll also deal with some of the examples. So let's start with voltage controlled voltage source. Voltage controlled voltage source. Voltage controlled voltage source, VCVS. So let us see what is this one. See the diagram. Dependent source will always be shown with the help of this type of box. If you are having circular box, then this is independent source, or if you are having the battery like this is also independent source. But here, if you are having the box like this, it means the source is dependent source. Clear? Now here you will see plus minus. Plus and minus indicates voltage source. Plus and minus indicates it is voltage source. Now it is saying voltage controlled voltage source. It means you will see its value will be written like this one, A into V1, where A is the constant and V1 is the branch voltage. V1 is the branch voltage. That means you can see that here its value is not constant. Its value is dependent upon the voltage of another branch. Its value is dependent upon the voltage of another branch. That's why its name is voltage controlled voltage source. For example, let us see. You are having this type of circuit. You are having this type of circuit. 10 volt, 5 ohm, 5 ohm, 5 ohm. You are having 2 V1. It is given 2 V1 and it is written V1 is the voltage across this branch. So this is the example of voltage controlled voltage source. This is the example of voltage controlled voltage source. Next, second is current controlled voltage source. Second is current controlled voltage source. Current controlled voltage source, that is CCVS. So let us see. First, let us see the symbol. Since it is voltage source, here it will be plus minus. Now they are saying it is current controlled voltage source. That means its value is dependent upon the current of any another branch. So here it will be written as A into I1. For example, you see plus minus 5 volt, 5 volt, 2 ohm, 5 ohm, 5 ohm. Now you are having a dependent source like this one, plus minus 2 I1, plus minus 2 I1, and here somebody is telling you this is the value of I1, this is the I1, this is the branch current I1. So this is the example of current controlled voltage source. Clear? Current dependent voltage source. Clear? Next, we are having two more sources, that means voltage controlled current source. Then we will discuss current controlled current source. So voltage controlled current source. Voltage controlled current source. Let us see voltage controlled current source. So here see the symbol. This is the symbol of dependent source. Now which type of source it is? It is dependent current source. For current source you will have to show with the help of an arrow. Now they are saying its value is dependent on voltage of another branch. So here its value will be A into V1. A into V1, that means voltage of another branch. Remember one thing, here you should not confuse with the unit. Some of you may ask, sir, here its unit should be voltage, but here you are saying that this is current source, so its unit is ampere. No, you have to take the magnitude only. You have to consider the magnitude only. You should not focus on unit here. Clear? So here it is voltage controlled current source. Clear? Similarly, if you draw current controlled voltage source, if you draw current controlled voltage source, current controlled voltage source, you see current controlled current source, current controlled current source. Here you will see you are having the box, rectangular box. Since it is current source, so you will put an arrow inside the box. Then it is current controlled. That means you write A into I1. You write A into I1. A into I1. So this is voltage controlled current source. This is current controlled current source. This is current controlled current source. Clear? So now I am writing some of the points of dependent source and independent source. I am writing some of the points of dependent source and independent source. Here you see you are having independent source, and you are having dependent source. You are having dependent source. The first point, these all are very important points. So note all the points. First point, I am writing it can be deactivated. It can be deactivated. What is the meaning of deactivation? Deactivation means when you study network theorem, so there you will see that network theorem, in all the network theorems, you will see that some of the sources are being deactivated. That means voltage source will be replaced by short circuit and current source will be replaced by open circuit. So here it is saying that if you are having an independent source, so you can deactivate the independent source. Clear? Here, if you are having dependent source, then you can never deactivate dependent source. It can never be deactivated. It can never be deactivated. You cannot deactivate any dependent source. Second, KCL and KVL are valid. Kirchhoff's current law and Kirchhoff's voltage law are valid in the case of independent source. Here also KCL and KVL are valid. KCL and KVL are valid. KCL and KVL are valid. Third point, source transformation. Source transformation is possible. Source transformation is possible. Here, after writing all the differences, we'll see what is source transformation. So here it is saying source transformation is possible. That means current source can be converted to voltage source and voltage source can be converted to current source. Here also, source transformation is possible. Source transformation is possible. Now you will see an extra point in the case of dependent source. What is the extra point? It has a constraint equation. It has a constraint equation. What is the meaning of constraint equation? We'll see how to write the constraint equation in the case of dependent source. It is also saying that the number of constraint equations will be equal to the number of dependent sources present in the network. That means somebody asks you how many number of constraint equations will be there. So your answer will be the number of dependent sources present in the circuit, that will be equal to number of constraint equation. So if a circuit having 3 dependent sources, so there will be 3 constraint equations. Clear? There will be 3 constraint equations. Clear? Next let us see source transformation, and then we'll discuss how to write the constraint equation of dependent source. Then we'll discuss how to write constant equation. So here you see that source transformation. What is source transformation? Suppose if you are having a voltage source, V, resistance R, so you can convert it into a current source. You can convert it into a current source. That means if you are having a practical voltage source, then practical voltage source can be converted to practical current source. Here in the case of practical voltage source, resistance is in series. In the case of practical current source, resistance will be in parallel. Here I will be equal to V divided by R. Here I will be equal to V divided by R. Now somebody is saying you that you are having a current source. You are having a current source. You have to convert the current source into practical voltage source. So again, if this circuit is given, then the circuit will become this one, and here you will write V will be equal to I into R. V will be equal to I into R. The source transformation is applicable in the case of dependent source also. Suppose you are having a dependent source. If you are having a dependent source plus minus AV1, this resistance is R. So you can convert it into a practical current source. You can convert it into a practical current source. The resistance will be same, but it will come in parallel. Here you will have to replace by arrow, and here it will be, its value will be A V1 divided by R. Its magnitude will be A into V1 divided by R. So this is the source transformation. This is the source transformation. Clear? Next let us discuss the constraint equation. Let us discuss constraint equation in the case of dependent source. Constraint equation in dependent source. So how to write constraint equation? So there are 3 steps. You will have to follow 3 steps. First step is step 1. Step 1, look at the magnitude of dependent source. Clear? Step 2. Identify the branch on which dependent variable depends. Identify the branch on which dependent variable depends. Third step, once you identify the branch, then you will have to apply Ohm's law in that identified branch. Apply Ohm's law in that identified branch. You will have to apply Ohm's law in that identified branch. Clear? So let us take one question and we can understand. You are having a voltage source of value 11 volt. You are having a voltage source of value 11 volt. There is a resistance of 1 ohm. Here also you are having a resistance of 1 ohm. And here you are having a current source, dependent current source of value 9I. 9I. I is this current. I is this current. Clear? Now you have to find the value of I. You have to calculate the value of I. Come to the solution. Step 1. What it is saying? Look at the magnitude of dependent source. Here the magnitude at 9 into I. Since it is represented by arrow, that means it is dependent current source and its value dependent on current. That means it is current controlled current source. Next, step 2, identify the branch on which dependent variable depends. Identify the branch. Here it is clearly given. This is the branch. this is the branch on which its value depends. Third step, apply Ohm's law in that identified branch. Why will you apply Ohm's law in that identified branch? Because you have to find the value of I. So here to find value of I, you will have to apply Ohm's law. You will have to apply Ohm's law. If you are applying Ohm's law, what will you write? See, this is the ground terminal. Its potential is 0. Now there is battery of voltage 11 volt. So there will be rise in potential of 11 volt. So here the potential will become 11 volt. So I will be written 11 minus potential of this point. Potential of this point. Now the potential of this point is not known to you. Let us assume it as a small v. A small v. So here it will be 11 minus v divided by resistance 1. From here you can write I is equal to 11 minus v, or you can write v equal to 11 minus I. This is equation 1. This is equation 1. Clear? Next you will have to apply Kirchhoff's current law at this node by KCL. You will have to apply Kirchhoff's current law at this node. So here, what is Kirchhoff's current law? The incoming current, the sum of incoming current is equal to sum of outgoing current. Here you see that current coming through this branch is I. Current coming from this branch is 9I. So here the incoming currents are I plus 9I. It will be equal to outgoing current. What is the value of outgoing current? Here the potential is V. Here the potential is 0. So V minus 0 divided by 1. That means V by 1. So you can write 10I is equal to V. And instead of V, what will you write? V will be written as 11 minus I. From here it will become 11I equal to 11. From here you can write I is equal to 1 ampere. From here I is equal to 1 ampere. So if you remember these three steps, then you can easily find the solution for dependent source. This is not difficult. So this is all about dependent source. Now in the lecture, in tutorial session, we will discuss more number of questions on dependent source. Now let us discuss Kirchhoff's current law and Kirchhoff's voltage law. Let us discuss Kirchhoff's current law and Kirchhoff's voltage law, because these two are very basic laws of electrical engineering, and you must have the practice on how to apply Kirchhoff's current law. KCL, Kirchhoff's current law. Kirchhoff's current law, what does it say? It says that at a node, the sum of incoming current is equal to sum of outgoing current is equal to sum of outgoing current. Sum of incoming current is equal to sum of outgoing current. What does it mean? It means you are having a node. There are many branches. There are many branches. Clear? Somebody is saying this is 3 ampere, this is 2 ampere, this is 1 ampere, this is 5 ampere, this is 1 ampere, and this current is not known to you. Now they are saying this is outgoing current. So here you will have to apply Kirchhoff's current law. So after applying Kirchhoff's current law, you can easily find the value of current I. So you will have to take the account of all the branches. So if you start from here, this is incoming branch, that means coming towards the node, 1 ampere, plus this is also incoming, 3, plus 2 is also incoming. Here suppose this is outgoing. So for outgoing it will be written in right side, outgoing branch 1 ampere, or here you can write incoming currents as positive and outgoing currents as negative. You can write incoming current as positive and outgoing current as negative. So 1 plus 3 plus 2, here it will be minus 1, here it will be minus 5, and here it will be, this is also outgoing current, minus I will be equal to 0, will be equal to 0. So from here you can write, you see that 5 plus 1 6, 3 to 5 plus 1 6. From here you get I equal to 0 ampere. From here you get I equal to 0 ampere. Now one more point, note it carefully. KCL works on principle of conservation of charge. Kirchhoff's current law works on the principle of conservation of charge. How? See, current means what? Current is nothing but rate of flow of charge. I is equal to dq by dt, rate of flow of charge. So here you see that incoming current is equal to outgoing, that means sum of total currents at a node is equal to 0. So it is saying that since current is nothing but rate of flow of charge, so the charge at any node is conserved. The charge at any node is conserved. So it is very important point. It can be asked in any examination. Clear? Second thing, KCL is valid for any kind of network. Any kind of network. That means there are no any conditions for applying Kirchhoff's current law. Any network is given to you, you can apply Kirchhoff's current law. Whether it is non-linear, whether it is unilateral, whatever with the network given to you, you can apply Kirchhoff's current law. Clear? Next is Kirchhoff's voltage law. Next is Kirchhoff's voltage law. Let us see. Kirchhoff's voltage law. It is saying in a loop, sum of voltages across all the elements is equal to 0. It is saying that if you are having a loop, like this one. Clear? This is V1, V2, V3, R1, R2, R3, and current flowing through this loop is I1. Current flowing through this loop is I. Then this law is saying that the voltage across all the elements, this is first element, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, there are total 6 voltages, 6 elements. So the voltage across all the elements, you take the sum of all those elements, it will be 0. So let's start from this point. You have to apply Kirchhoff's voltage law. What you see? This is the negative terminal of battery, this is the positive terminal of battery. That means there is rise in voltage. So here I am taking, since negative sign is coming at the starting, so I am taking it minus V1. If negative sign is coming at a starting, you take minus V1. Similarly, the current is flowing like this, so there will be some potential drop like this one. There will be the potential drop, current is flowing through this one. So here in the second case it is positive terminal coming first, so you will type plus, the voltage drop will be I into R1 plus I into R2 plus, now the positive terminal of the battery coming first, plus V2 plus I into R3 plus V3 will be equal to 0. Will be equal to 0. So this is Kirchhoff's voltage law. This is Kirchhoff's voltage law. Now note one important point of Kirchhoff's voltage law. The point is KVL works on the principle of conservation of charge. KVL works on the principle of conservation of energy. KVL works on the principle of conservation of energy. Let us see how. You are starting from one point and you are coming back to the same point. You are starting from one point, you are coming back to the same point. You see that there are some gain in the voltage, at the same time there are some loss in the voltage. That means the voltage drops are nothing but voltage loss and voltage rise are nothing but voltage gain. So total gain is equal to total loss. Total gain is equal to total loss. That means you can say that energy is conserved here. Energy is conserved here. So total, suppose you have generated the electrical energy with the help of this source. Now you see that the total energy is conserved. If you start moving from this point, again you come back to this point. There is no any voltage loss. So KVL works on the principle of conservation of energy. Second thing, it is applicable in any type of network. It is applicable in any type of network. It is applicable in any type of network. So this is KCL and KVL. Clear? Now in the next video lecture, I will discuss some numerical questions asked in previous year GATE examinations. I will also discuss some numerical questions that has not been asked in any examinations, or I'll also discuss some questions asked in engineering services examination. Now you have to prepare all these contents today.